Hello, hello, Otafest podcast listeners. This is Angelo, and with me today is Nancy.
I'm back!
Oh my lord, oh my god, this is our second last episode of the season, and we have some anime reviews for you.
That's right. After
That's
Otafest
right.
and after we recovered, we are now ready to talk about this season.
Yeah. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we actually have a little bit of Otafest news for you. Oh boy,
Whoop.
things are ramping up already, but Otafest was just 2 weeks ago.
True.
The Otafest Pokemon League is looking for new trainers to take on the mantle of gym leader. If you're interested in becoming part of the real-life Pokemon League, apply today through this link. Otafest/Pokemon League Volunteer Application 2027. That is otafe.st/Pokemon League Volunteer Application 2027. Find it on our Facebook, or on Twitter, or on Blue Sky, because I don't expect you to type in that whole thing. Applications close June 11th. At 11:59 p.m., so apply before then.
Golly, that's not a lot of time. Get on that.
That is, as of airing, about a week.
Mm-hmm.
So do it. Do it. You have the whole year to figure out your team. You can do this.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah,
Well, that's
so apply.
why. Yeah.
Just apply. Become
Do
a
it.
gym leader. Yes.
Work on
Oh
your
my
evil
God.
monologuing.
I personally haven't participated in the Pokemon League, but apparently it is extremely popular. Extremely popular. Apparently there's people who come from like the UK, from Texas, every year, just for that.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's so
Wow.
cool.
You love to hear it. I always love hearing dedicated stories about people who just love Otafest and the things that happen here that much.
Seriously.
It's just good friends, good family. We have a staff member who flies in from Australia every year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
If that tells you anything about the dedication here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're dedicated to anime.
We are very dedicated to our anime reviews.
So about 2 months ago, we came up with a list of 5 anime that we thought looked kind of interesting. We looked at Hat Atelier, Rooster Fighter, Liar Game, Daemons of the Shadow Realm, and Meow. And quite frankly, goddamn did this deliver. So first up.
Yeah, Hat Atelier.
Hat Atelier.
God, this show is so gorgeous. And I'm not biased because we had Keyfree at Otafest this year, but
We did have Keyfree at Otafest.
it's beautiful. But I feel like the pacing of the storytelling is leaving me behind a bit.
Do you think it's going too fast?
It's undoubtedly the most gorgeously animated show this season. And I wish Coco would pick up what other people are putting down. I really do.
Listen. No, I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree. I think Coco is doing everything that she can. I don't think Coco is that far behind.
Like, okay, I get that she wasn't born into magic. Like, that's the whole point of the story.
Everyone else was born into magic, and then she's been at this for like 3 weeks.
And I get that. But, like, she wasn't willing to hold someone else accountable for pretty much putting her on a death sentence journey out into a place they don't even know, isn't prepared for, has not had the time to be educated about or know anything about the fundamentals of magic, and just like boots her out there. And, oh, I guess you can have my shoes, but I'm going to be a real jerk about it when you come back without them.
So as you can probably guess, Nancy and I are both keeping up with this weekly. Oh my god. It is...
Yes.
If that is anything to go by, watch Witch Hat Atelier. It is so good. Joshua Waters himself damn near poisoned himself on Jay's hot pepper brew to tell you how good this anime was. Oh my lord.
This is true. And he did an admirable job trying to tell us about the show while dealing with the absolutely god-awful flavor of mystery hot sauce in his mouth and dealing with the fact that the capsaicin rating in his mouth and throat were probably insanely high.
So, without getting too much into the story or spoiling too much, everything about Witch Hat Atelier, from the moment it starts, feels so good. They show you these big landscape shots. They show you this gorgeous, like, watercolored backgrounds. They show you this skilled person cutting fabric in their mother's fabric shop. We get a flying horse cart, a Pegasus cart, I think they called it, flying in, and we get Gojo himself, Keyfree. Because every good show needs a Gojo these days, you know what I mean? White-haired, blue-eyed, tall, handsome. It's a genre of man now. Gojo is just a genre of man, and Keyfree is our new Gojo.
I like the... I'm not going to say anything about what the context is, but I like his companion that, like, hops in a few episodes later.
Yeah, no, he also seems super cool. I can't remember what his name is. All I know is that he lives in his house. Exactly. So...
Anyway, the show's been fantastic.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I love that storybook aesthetic, the fairy tale-esque-ness of it. There's something gorgeously whimsical about, like, the creatures and the magic and how it works and how it's... I'm not going to say any... Actually, no, I'm not going to say anything. I was about to say something that could have been like an itty-bitty little spoiler, but I really enjoy the world and the people who inhabit it and all of that stuff. It's been really good. I just wish that they had picked up the pacing just a little bit. It's just a little too slow for me.
I'm surprised you're saying the pacing is slow.
I know. And, like, I think it's because I keep wanting them to move on with like more of the development. Like, I want our little green-haired bean to grow beyond the person that she is currently statically inhabiting. Like, I want to see her growing. I want to see her, like, getting things. Like, it's clear from the very first episode, she's smart enough to figure out some things. And then it sort of hits a brick wall. And you're like, come on, girl, come on, you can do it.
I understand what you mean now. And I think the problem is, right now, they're taking character development and putting it a little bit on the backseat to develop the world a little bit more. Because we are introduced to so many mysteries. Who are the Brimmed Hats? What are they doing? Why does Keyfree want to hunt them down? Why won't he let the cops do that? Why are the cops such big jerks? That one answers itself.
Well,
God.
Yeah, that one does answer itself. But, like, I like a lot of the world building. Like, even in the most recent episode, they talk a lot about the rules and why the rules are the way they are. And I get it. But guys, security through obfuscation is not smart. You need to do more than that.
Exactly. Security through obscurity is the worst kind. It's not security at all. When the entirety of magic society can be overturned by some girl looking in a window.
So, do you remember how when you were a kid, every child in elementary school was taught the absolute basics of fire safety?
Stop, drop, and roll.
and what to do and what not to do when around open flame.
Yes.
These are things that we're taught as a safety measure, and these are things that maybe the world at large should know about magic.
So that's one of Dio's biggest arguments so far, is that the brimless hats, the good witches, they're kind of awful, and everything is kind of their fault for making magic so secure and keeping it secret.
Yeah, just make sure people don't know anything about it.
At the same time, I understand the show's own justification for the whole world the way it is, because fans from the show have since come up with their own magic, their own spells, using the show and the manga for things. And they've done things like create nuclear weapons with the magic in the show.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yes. The fans of the show prove why what they do in the show is necessary.
I get that. But at the same time, maybe obscurity isn't the best thing that we could do here.
Real. God. But I am so on board for everything Witch Hat Atelier has for us. It is so good.
I'm waiting for it to have this major turning point where everything picks up all of a sudden and just ramps up to 11.
Yeah, I kind of like how JJK after season 1 had one episode of Slice of Life and has since then just been breakneck speed, crazy shit happening. I kind of feel, I don't want it to go 100% like that, but I kind of feel like Witch Hat Atelier has that option. I like some of the slow vibes. I do like some of the more relaxing moments. It's kind of like Frieren in a way.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so I don't mind it in Frieren, but that's because we've already spent a lot of time building the world and getting to know our main characters. We've told some development arc already. But Coco, we're still in the first 7 episodes of her life right now, and it hasn't gotten to a point where it was 7 episodes deep in Frieren yet.
Exactly. You're right. But yes, if you're not watching Witch Hat Atelier, I don't know what to say. It is straight up one of the best anime, if not the best anime this season.
Yeah.
Which is, honestly, it's got a lot of competition. Because I didn't expect Rooster Fighter to be as hype.
I did not expect it to slap the way it does.
Oh my god. Not gonna lie. I was judging a book by its cover. Anytime I see an anime and anytime that I see it's mostly 3D CG, I have this bad habit of writing it off.
Yeah, I know, and I do too. And it's not 100% unfounded either, based on the history we've had on this show alone of reviewing shows that we've done previews for.
A lot of 3D anime just suck. I'm really sorry to say it. Sometimes the story can really help it along. Things like Bubuki Baranki, or That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Spider, or whatever the fuck it was called. The story made it interesting. The pacing made it interesting. And you had to fight through the visual presentation. But at the very least, the fight choreography uses the strengths of 3D graphics. Rooster Fighter, on the other hand, it is, I wouldn't say gorgeous. It's not pretty.
But it has this kind of rustic
interesting
roughness to it.
Yeah.
I don't,
there were
it's not polished. And I think that's what, I think a lot of the time Angelo and I will pick up on things like, this seems really unpolished. This is really taking me out of it. Or this is really unpolished and they're 5-minute episodes or something like that. And that's often the trend we see. But Rooster Fighter is unpolished in this oddly charming kind of way.
It feels unpolished because they decided it was better that way. And our main boy, our main bird, Keiji, gives off that type of unpolished energy. He is crude. He is not a gentleman. But
no, he's
is
not.
A rooster with a code of honor. You know what I mean?
An odd one at that. But
An
yeah.
odd one.
Yeah, it was more than a little surprising for the show to open with like a mom and her small kid. She's taking him out for dinner, and a kaiju attacks the city. And you're like, oh my god, this is rocking off to a really good start. What's gonna happen? The kaiju was walking around in a bikini top?
Yeah. With a real big and I was like, excuse me? What? Why does the kaiju got milkies? What is going on here? And then, like, we finally see her face. And I do say her. She had 3 faces. And I was like, wait a minute. Goddamn Ghidorah? Ghidorah? Excuse me? Ghidorah in a gold bikini? Is it Golden Week already? That was a few weeks ago. But, the kaiju, or I think they call them demons, the character designs for them are really interesting.
Actually a really solid midpoint between pure nightmare fuel and a little bit more original than your classic designs.
Like, I'm watching this other anime called Snowball Earth, and it's fine. It has 3D CG kaijus in it. For the first, 3 episodes, all of them are literally the exact same character model, just different colors. It is boring, it is awful, it is just... Thank God the story was mildly compelling, otherwise I would have completely written it off.
Oh.
But Rooster Fighter definitely doesn't have that problem, because when have I ever seen a middle-aged Japanese lady turned into Ghidorah? She's got 3 rows of teeth. She's asking where her little boy... it is really compelling from a monster situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, our boy, Keiji, saves the day.
Yep.
And then, the next scene, we see him fucking.
Yep. That happens.
That happened.
It happened. It was like... oh, okay, they're just going to make some sounds and there won't be anything on screen. It was fully on screen.
I mean, it's two chickens, so it's not exactly pornographic, but it feels like it should be, you know? You know?
It caught me by surprise, actually.
It caught
I was
both
a little
of us
surprised.
by surprise. And then Keiji was like, I wasn't playing with your heart. It was just my animal instincts. And then he walks off into the sunset until some kids want to eat him.
Yep.
And then the best old man in anime saved our boy Keiji, gave him some delicious food, some corn, some barley, some shiso leaves. Honestly, it felt a little emotional even. I wasn't expecting that kind of vibe from this kind of show, this kind of crazy show.
Right. And then all of a sudden, we're getting into another kaiju fight. And, okay, I have to say, it's clear the kaiju are forming because they're bothered by something. Like, something is clearly causing them extreme distress. Do you know what this guy was mulling over as a kaiju? Making his monthly car sales. Dude was throwing cars around and screaming about hybrids, hydrogen engines, and
he was lamenting KPIs. Ooh, KPIs. All of us really like hitting our KPIs, right?
And making your model upgrades worth it, and or also trying to scream about recalls. And I was like, dang, this all kind of hits a little hard. As someone who's had to deal with bringing a car in for a safety recall, or you bring it in and they try and upsell you on something or other, and you're like, damn, man, I get it. I get why you're so emotionally distressed.
Yeah, like, it seems like the demons are being caused by people who are either under great stress or some sort of distress being turned into demons. And it really does, I don't know if we'll actually get anything interesting based off of that, any introspection or such of that, something of that nature. But the demon character design, like I was talking about the Ghidorah titty monster earlier, this guy was a giant head on top of a hand, and then he had big burly arms coming out of his devil ears. It was incredible. It was insane. This was such unique character design, and I mean that in the best way.
Yeah. And like, I don't watch a ton of kaiju material, but I have to say that there's something oddly compelling about kaiju that seem far more human.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's why they were calling them demons specifically instead of kaiju.
Maybe.
But it was really compelling. I was kind of digging it, and I was like, maybe I should have picked this up sooner. Maybe I really need to be watching some Rooster Fighter.
This show slaps way more than I thought it would. Like, I'm actually down to sit down and catch up.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, wow. Now, the same cannot be said for Liar Game.
No.
Oh, my God.
Good gracious.
Why does a show with such an interesting premise? The premise is our honest girl now is thrown into the Liar Game and immediately scammed out of her 100 million yen, about $1 million. And
she made the mistake of entrusting her money to a teacher of hers.
Yes. She gets matched up against an old teacher, and he scams her immediately. Now, this is something that I well and truly hate with a lot of, like, honest characters, you know? We're being told that they're honest. And that can be true. Honesty doesn't mean you're an idiot. Honesty doesn't mean that you have to trust everybody.
Yes.
You can be honest and be a little bit cynical or be a little bit suspicious about other people's intentions. You don't have to be like, haha, I'm honest, I never tell a lie. Therefore, the concept of lies don't exist in my mind.
Also, I will believe anything and everything that anyone says to me ever.
Exactly. And that's what our girl now, in Liar Game, immediately does.
Yep. Believes anything. Everything.
I wish I could say anything nice about this anime. But the characters weren't compelling. The characters had, like, I should say, main boy, about halfway through the episode, at least had brains. But everything in this episode looked ugly. You know what I mean? I hate to say it like that, but it was...
I know that we don't judge things entirely off of the aesthetic, but coming off of something like Rooster Fighter and something like Hat Atelier, this show has a lot to make up for aesthetically, so I generally expect it to be made up for in the writing or the music or something. The art style is very reminiscent of how I drew anime boys when I was in grade 11.
Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. I'm so sorry.
It's an uncomfortable level of going, at least I still don't draw chins like that.
My analysis of their art style and what they were going for, it to me looks like they were trying to go for a style more based in realism, Like, there are a lot of times where they add extra details to the hands, the faces, the hair. Like, when you think about anime characters and you think about their hair, you're thinking of absurd volumes, spiky hair that doesn't really exist in reality. Where in Liar Game, every character that we saw feels like somebody that could exist. Feels like somebody that could look exactly like that in real life. And what I was just thinking was, why did they animate this when live action would have been cheaper?
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that. Live action would have been cheaper.
The only thing that they wouldn't have gotten in live action that they did in anime was, after drawing people very realistically, like almost off-puttingly realistically, whenever someone would like crack, whenever they would like get into a little bit of a mania, their mouths would open extremely large. They would start yelling, and they would be like a caricature of the character they just were, in a way that didn't fit the world.
And it felt so exaggerated that it's already a little bit off from several angles. When you add in the extra caricature, like that kind of exaggerated facial features, it really takes you out of it.
It really does. I'm sorry. I wanted to like Liar Game. I really wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt because I really like the premise. And it's just not good. I couldn't bring myself into it. There is nothing could make me want to watch another episode of it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd continue with this one. But Demons of the Shadow Realm, that one I need to go catch up with.
You do.
Because we did not pick this up for keeping up with. And Angelo showed me this episode for the first time today, right before we recorded this. And the animation is so incredibly engaging.
It's so good. It's so good. And it is such a ridiculously strong first episode.
Yeah. Not to mention there were a bunch of twists that were just like, excuse me? In the first episode?
In the first 10 minutes even, there is a massive twist. I don't want to tell anybody what it is because I want them to experience it for themselves.
No, it was honestly that actually kind of surprised me.
This has been the third time that I've watched the first episode. I watched it on my own, and then I was like, this is amazing. I need to put this in front of Dio. And now I got to watch it with Nancy again. And I'm still over here being like, yeah, beat for beat for beat. It's so good. You know when you watch an anime and there's some parts that drag on or are kind of cringy or feel weird and you're watching it with a friend and then that scene shows up and you're like, oh no, are they going to think I'm weird? None of that happened. It was just 100% perfect first episode.
This is a slight tangent, but do you find that you are far more critical of shows when you watch with friends?
Yes.
I find that too, because I very often am like, Angelo, you gotta watch this. And then I show you and I'm like, oh, what if Angelo really hates that? Oh, that was kind of cringy. Oh no. Why didn't I see that when I watched it?
It's fair. But Demons of the Shadow Realm, this is a story written by the same author as Full Metal Alchemist. If I remember right, Hikaru Harakawa.
And you can
tell. You can absolutely tell. Our boy Yuru literally looks like an alternate world Edric or Elric. Edward or Alphonse Elric.
Yeah.
He is the spitting image.
Yeah.
But put him in medieval Japanese clothes.
Correct.
But
and then suddenly violence erupts, and you're like, what?
the violence itself is so, like, to be clear, if your child is less than 13, they probably shouldn't be watching this. It might be a little bit much.
Yeah,
in fact,
it's
even 13, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think I would raise that to like 16.
So, what caught me off guard when I started watching, I was in for like a comfy ride. I was like, ooh, okay, we're doing some medieval Japanese stuff. I like this. This is cool. Hunting in the mountains, riding a horse, helping out your village. Heck yeah. And then suddenly people start getting killed. Their heads and arms and stuff start getting bitten off, and you see them go flying, and splashes of blood everywhere. Everywhere.
Yep.
Cries of terror.
It was a little bit jarring, for sure, but I know they do that on purpose.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they executed on it perfectly.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go and watch more of this now, so...
Now, the only thing I'm going to say, there are two characters, and they're in the trailer. They're this pair of super hot man and lady, this guy with a red and white beard and abs that you could grate cheese on. This other lady who's got eyes that pierce into my soul, biceps that could tear me in half. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my God. They're perfect. They're
and is
so
also
good.
Wearing a bikini top?
I don't think it's exactly a bikini top. I think it's just like a sarashi, I think it's called, like a sash or a wrap.
Yeah. I just recall there being a close-up on it when, the focus
she
was
got
on
her
the
titty
biceps.
out. You see them. They're big and they are there.
They are present.
But quite frankly, if anything has to be bigger, and Dio agrees on this with me, they're horns. They've got these tiny little horns. I remember complaining about this in our preview episode when we watched the trailer, and I was like, I love these two characters. Why are their horns so small?
They're very itty bitty. It was. I noticed, actually. I noticed when I was watching it. I know they're very itty bitty. They're like shy girl horns. They're not big and loud and proud horns. I found that was very
to show her.
I found that interesting. I'm not going to go into why, but the reason is because in demon lore, the size of your horns do mean something.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah, it's supposed to represent it could be one of two things. It can be like an age thing, but I think it actually more directly ties into your deeds as a monster, basically.
Okay.
It's like the more bad things that you do, the more infamy you gather, and the more people know about you, and the more cemented you are in people's minds, the bigger your horns get, I think. And so I was like, I wonder if it's because they're like younger or newer demons.
It's because they're good boys.
Oh, yeah.
No,
That's a good way to frame
they're
it.
perfect. They're
That's
so
a great
good.
way to frame it.
They're nice, and that's why they have tiny horns. I understand. Unlucky.
I'm going to have to go back to Wikipedia and check on that one, but that's something I learned a while ago. I never fact-checked it, so if the person who told me this was wrong, I'm sorry for feeding you misinformation. I will go look this up in a second.
Now, the only thing that I'm going to say, without saying spoilers, honestly, if you're pacing issues from Hat Atelier are a problem, that is going to be a problem here too.
Oh,
they
man.
have spent so much time on world building, and not just world building mostly without exposition, to the point where like 8 episodes in, we barely know what's going on. We don't really have any answers. We kind of get like what the main conflict is centered around, but not why the conflict. You know what I mean? I'm praying that this is minimum a 25 episode anime. I haven't looked. I don't want my heart to be broken. Because if it's only going to be 12 episodes and then we have to wait a year or two for Core 2 or Season 2, I'm going to feel so cucked. I'm going to feel so robbed.
Aww.
Because...
So, okay, here's the thing. I think some of my pacing expectations kind of came from last season when we were watching To Be Hero X, because that show paces insanely. Every 3 episodes, you are still meeting new people and new stories and putting pieces together. And by the end of the, 13 episodes? Like, a lot has happened.
It was 24 episodes.
Was it 24? Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. But, like, you know what I mean? To Be Hero X was very...
To Be Hero was constantly jumping from one to another to the point where you literally didn't know that all the stories were interconnected.
No.
Until, like, episode 13, 14. It felt like an anthology series, and then things started combining.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that kind of story, but the thing is that 3 or 4 episodes away from the end of the season, you were still meeting new people.
The big man, the big guy, the Hero X, in the goddamn opening sequence, you didn't meet him until like 6 episodes to the end.
Oh yeah, like it was...
No, I've got so many complaints about To Be Hero X. That is the opposite of slow pacing. That is breakneck pacing to a detriment.
Anyway, so it is funny to me that was... Like, I don't know if I would consider that pacing good or bad, personally and taste-wise. I just noticed that it was a different way of telling a very big story with a lot of different people in it and making it continue to be engaging throughout the season. And, man, if you're telling me Demons of the Shadow Realm is going to be harder than Hat Atelier, oh.
Yes. Like, it is... So far, I would argue that it's been a slow burn, which is carried by how interesting and cool the characters are. Like, you have to fall in love with our characters, Yuru and Asa, and left and right, if you are going to want to make it through this show. Because...
Also, I really love that their names are left and right.
Yes, their names are left and right.
I love that. I love that so much.
That is something you'll find. It is a motif throughout this whole series of things coming in pairs. So, like, the main characters are twins.
Yeah.
All of the Daemons, all of them are a pair. Like, there was one where it's a tortoise and a hare. We see one girl with a big tooth ghost, a big chompy tooth ghost. You see her in the first episode. She continuously calls Gabriel, her tooth ghost, both of you, or the pair of you, or even though it looks like it's one character, you realize that, oh, it is 2 halves of a jaw. So it's 2 things.
Yeah, I picked up on that in the first episode.
And I don't know where they're going to go with that. It might be 50 episodes before we get the payoff on why everything comes in pairs. What philosophy do you have for us, Hikaru Arakawa?
I don't know, but if the pacing is going at that speed, who knows when we'll get actual answers?
Who knows? Like, I'm down for it. I love this show. It is straight up my second favorite show this season. My first favorite is Marriage Toxin, and we didn't really get to talk about it.
Shame.
But that's okay. Because we get to talk about Meow. It's a show about a demon cat.
That feels very much like Inuyasha, but slightly more modern and involves a cat instead of a
So it is
Wolf?
by the same author. It is by the same authors, Inuyasha, as Ranma, as some fantastic, trend-setting, literal nostalgia bomb anime. And it feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like Inuyasha again. You know what I mean? Girl goes back into the past, meets a demon-adjacent boy with sword, and a tiny friend. And they go on demon-slaying adventures together.
I enjoy the tiny friend.
That is the broad strokes of it. That is the very broad strokes of it. On the detailed strokes, I actually do think that there's something unique going on here, and I think it's kind of interesting. Immediately, we are introduced to our girl, Honoka, I believe her name was.
Mm.
And was that it? I think so. Anyways, her parents got dead, and then Honoka got pissed off, so she went to China to learn to be a ninja, and then she went to
Wait. Back up, that's
Batman. That's Batman.
Wait, back up. That's
So, she lives with her grandfather, and her grandfather's really weird live-in maid gives her a toxic sludge slurry every morning for some reason. And then she goes to the abandoned shopping arcade that her parents got dead at, and somehow transfers back to the past. And what does she find in the past? A bunch of see-through people. They're like the cool ice colored Game Boy Color, where you can just see right through them. Yes, I think that's the appropriate way to describe people. Yeah.
And then she meets a cat boy.
Well, before she meets a cat boy, she meets a cute girl who's mysteriously stabbed.
And then the girl splits in half and turns out to be a praying mantis creature.
Yeah, a big bug. Do you remember that in Inuyasha, where the first thing Kagome found was a bug? A big ol' centipede lady?
I hate it already.
I'm not saying that these are the exact same story. All I'm saying is that Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, and Star Wars Episode 7, whatever it was called, were also the same story, but not. And,
Anyway, I'm not terribly compelled. I enjoyed it.
I didn't hate it. Honestly,
yeah, I enjoyed it.
Had I just started watching this for the sake of watching it, I probably would have kept watching it and just kept up with it monthly or weekly. But because I didn't start at the beginning of the season, because I'm now like 8 episodes behind, I'm kind of good without watching it. You know what I mean? That's feel fair. Like this is an anime that I've watched before. This is actually kind of silly to say. Despite it being by the same author as things like Ranma or Inuyasha, if you've never seen those anime, you'll probably really, really like Mao. I think there's a lot of cool shit going on. The opening music, the opening sequence was a jam. I was bopping my head to it. It was so good. But I feel like I'm just watching the same story that I've watched like 4 times now from the same author.
Maybe it's a formula that works. Okay, so full disclaimer, I have not watched Inuyasha.
Okay.
But I have watched a lot of Ranma.
Yeah.
Both the old and the new. If you recall, last year I tried to watch all of the original show, and we had to start skipping them because it got to bloat territory. There were a lot of episodes that were bloaty. There were like really pointless haposai episodes. Like it was we had to start following a watch guide to see which ones we could skip. We never finished it. But
Fair.
The new Ranma I have watched. It is purported to stick a lot closer to the original manga. So I will trust that it is doing a better job sticking closer to that. But I've noticed some differences, and it's fine. There's definitely a running theme of animal people. So I wonder if that's just a thing for this particular mangaka.
Perhaps. Perchance. It do be what it do be. So quite frankly, I don't think that... honestly, I would go as far as to say that Inuyasha is only legendary for us millennial weebs who saw it on YTV, who would wake up in the middle of the night with the TV still on to the ending of Inuyasha coming on. And it was back at the time where it was like one of a handful of anime that were easy to access before the internet existed.
Mm-hmm.
If Inuyasha came out today, it probably wouldn't have become as popular as it did. And I kind of feel like that's where Mao is right now. It's absolutely fine. It's not bad. It's just not particularly great either.
It doesn't stand out, I feel.
It does. It really does not stand out.
And like, in the past, I have indicated whether or not I would at least give something another 3, like a 3-episode try instead of just the 1. I would probably try and give Mao a 3-episode try. And
if you had nothing better to do, I'm sure you'd like it.
Yeah, and like, it would be fine to see where some of the hooks they've started with go, if they have any answers. But then, you know, by the first little mini arc there, by the first 3 episodes, you should know whether you or not you want to keep watching.
Exactly. It really does feel like something that's probably written for the 3-episode test. But I'm good. I've got Witch Hat Atelier. I've got Demons of the Shadow Realm. I've got Marriage Toxin, which again surprised the hell out of me. It's ridiculously fun. If you're not watching Marriage Toxin, probably change that.
Well, I guess I know what we're doing after this episode.
It's so good. It's so good. The first episode will hook you.
Well, then I guess we'll see y'all next week for the last episode of the season.
Yay, the last episode of the season. And then I get about 3 hours of my week back.
Time for summer break.
Yippee! Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Set